Hello, I'm Juan Davies, Chief Creative Officer at KCT and PBS SoCal, and I'm joined by the newsroom of KPCC and LAist on a daily reporter roundup. How is everyone today?
Well, thank you.
David, why don't we start with you today? We have new unemployment numbers from the state. What does it look like?
That's right. LA County's unemployment rate shot up to 20.3% in the new jobs report that came out today. That's 1 out of every 5 LA workers losing their job by mid-April as a result of coronavirus-related business closures. This is just a record-setting number, nothing like anything most of us have seen in our lifetime. California's statewide unemployment rate is a bit lower at 15.5%, but still, unemployment during the Great Recession never got that high. Economists say LA's unemployment rate is higher than average because our economy really relies so heavily on service sector jobs. So, people who are working in restaurants, hotels, the entertainment industry. These are jobs that really can't be done remotely in a lot of cases. They have to be done face-to-face. In more tech-heavy parts of California, like the San Francisco Bay Area, we're seeing much lower unemployment rates, but truly no industry in California and no part of the state has been spared from these huge job losses.
Caroline is continuing to dig into the way the pandemic is shaping our response and the responses that are coming into the census.
So the whole timeline for the 2020 census has been shifted because of coronavirus, since census takers can't go door to door like they normally would. This is going to have consequences, potentially until California's next primary in 2022. Normally, a commission would use that census data to draw new maps for the state Senate and the state assembly districts. But there's a high chance that commission won't even get population data until after the deadline to have those maps drawn. And that would be a serious mess because without maps, politicians wouldn't even know who they'd be running to represent in 2022. The state Supreme Court or a ballot measure could give the commission an extension. Either way, the 2022 March primary will probably get moved back to June just to avoid any potential snafu.
Ryan's been looking into LA's Slow Streets program, which aims to shut down some streets to enable more social distancing.
That's right. It doesn't technically shut down any streets, but what it does basically is puts up signs and barriers to inform drivers mostly that streets are for local traffic only, and just to be more mindful of people that are walking and biking and taking in their neighborhood, not in a car. This program really started as a grassroots effort by community groups who noticed that, as more people are at home, fewer cars on the road, the more people are looking for whatever sort of fresh air and exercise they can get in their neighborhoods. It's launched so far in Delray and Sawtelle as of last week. It launches in Eagle Rock today, and then over the weekend, the west side of the Mid-City neighborhood is getting the program. It's getting a lot of interest. Los Angeles Department of Transportation is managing the program, and they told me today that so far they've received more than 175 applications. So that's 175 residents and or community groups that are really interested in bringing this to their neighborhoods. So something to watch out for.
And finally today, a somber milestone in Los Angeles. More than 2,000 people have died from COVID, and Eric profiled one of them.
Yeah, I spoke to Gaspar Gomez's daughter, Lucia, who told me, her dad's life story. And one of the things that I constantly have to remind myself is that as hard as it is to report these stories on COVID-19, it's much harder living them. And that's something that I learned writing this obituary for Gaspar. He was a father. He was a fan of Chalino Sanchez. He loved to dance zapateada. And he was probably the first known day laborer to die in LA. There's, these networks that keep track of day laborers. And Gaspar was part of a group that's about 1,000 day laborers that they keep track of. And he's the first one to have reportedly died of coronavirus. But he was much more than that. And he had this beautiful life and a beautiful family. And he leaves behind 5 daughters and a son and his wife. So I was honored to get to tell his story and that the family entrusted me with that. There's always like a little bit of hope you get from talking to people. And his daughter remembers the happy moments. And she told me his story through tears, but also through laughter. So I was really inspired by her and by Gaspar.
Thank you, Eric. That was an incredible story to end our reporter roundup. Thank you also to all of you at the LAist and KPCC newsroom. And thank you for tuning in. Stay healthy, take care of your family, and we will see you on Monday.